have another presentation at the 3:40 as well. So yep, another one as well. So yep. So welcome back. Hope you enjoyed a good break. Hope you all enjoyed the presentation to Kerry with a paper mug. So now we have Ike, who's going to be talking about 15 years UI test automation. I always said 50 years, so I do apologise, but take it away.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, congratulations. You've chosen the today's presentation with the worst English. My English is made up mostly of early 90s rock songs and I learned at school. I'm speaking English on a daily basis, but there are no English people involved. So I will start. My name is Ike Klaus. I'm a software developer and DevOps engineer from Germany. Today I will guide you through my presentation, which is a journey about our last about 15 years doing test automation. Our company provides services or inspection services of industrial assets, mainly pipeline inspections. And therefore we use a lot of different applications, mostly desktop applications. We have customers in-house that use these applications to visualize sensor data and so on. And we also have external customers which use the software to do integrity management and all this management stuff with their pipelines usually. Yeah. Today's agenda, I chose to organize it in a chronological order, but it also fell into a few nice chapters. I will start how things started 15 years ago. Then I will tell something about the experiences we made writing test automation code, how we integrate everything in CI/CD pipelines, about our current challenges, and a short summary. Let's begin. A long time ago, a colleague of mine was asked, hey, I think it would be a good idea, let's do test automation. And he said, yeah, sure. And I think, as it's still true today, fired up his favorite search engine. He was looking for test automation tools, and so on. And guess what he found? Advertisement. Yeah, the industry provides or wants us to use, yeah, I will read the quotes. With codeless creation, you can run automated tests regardless of your technical skill level. Also, no code visual approach for testers and business users. Tools for script-free automation. I did the search recently, so this is not 15 years old, but it's still the results from today. So we tried it, record and playback. At the beginning, we made rapid progress initially. Yeah. But soon we realized, did I mention that we mostly do desktop applications? Yeah, desktop application. Okay. So we discovered quickly that we had to write hack scripts in order to get access to more advanced control, custom controls written in C++ and so on. So yeah, we recorded our test cases, but had to write additional hack scripts. Yeah, and then we realized that even small changes to the application under test required us to record the test cases again and again. So we discovered, okay, record and playback is a bad idea because the recordings are hard to maintain. We developed far too many hack scripts. And the result is that we ended up using an unstable custom scripting language in a development environment that was not designed for writing code. So we decided, okay, let's write code. At that time, Microsoft introduced Coded UI. Yes. Okay. You know it. Okay. Yeah, we were happy we could finally write code in C#. We soon realized that finding controls was really slow. So we started developing custom caching strategies in order to improve the performance. We also found out that finding
Memories.
Finding controls was really unreliable, flaky. So we started to implement custom retry strategies. Yeah, the code became complex and ugly. And finally, Microsoft retired coded UI in Visual Studio 2019. Okay, what's up next? Microsoft introduced Appium WinApp-Driver. Sure, we tried that. Microsoft still recommends Appium WinApp-Driver today. That's the current link to the up-to-date documentation from Microsoft. WinApp-Driver does not provide a proper control inspection tool. There is one, but I wouldn't call it proper. The resulting code is ugly. There are Druid skills required in order to run these tests. Yeah. And writing tests simply takes much too long and is way too complicated. Microsoft also does not update WinApp-Driver anymore. This is true since 3 years. And obviously, the community is not amused. And under this link, you will find my personal statement there as well.
And that's why you got banned, right?
What?
And that's why you got banned.
Not yet. Yeah, but finally, we have found a solution. We finally found a solution that provides a control finder with code generation, which is fast and reliable, which can be used from C# and also from Visual Studio. That means we have proper refactoring, debugging, version control. So we have our favorite tools for development. But it's also not bound to Visual Studio as Coded UI was. It can also be used from prototyping tools like Linkpad. If I had more time today, I would do a live demo showing how quickly you can use Linkpad in order to write test automation code with it. And it is easy to learn. No Druid skills required anymore. So let's dip our toes into some code. I didn't expect this to be dangerous, but if you there's one code missing.
That's a underrated code.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's imagine the following task. Start the calculator, click a few buttons, check that the result is correct, and close the calculator. So reliably, I tested. Yeah. I won't go into details of this code, but you see, this is how the generated code looks like. This is the code that is generated in order to get the button with the caption true. Similar, this is the code that is generated in order to retrieve the button with the caption 3. Consequence, the test code could look like this. Actually, these are screenshots from Linkpad. It's really comfortable. Yeah. The buttons are clicked in the correct order. The result is retrieved and can be checked afterwards. But everyone sees this approach does not scale. If you would add another test case, not with multiplication, but with addition or so, the amount of code would multiply. So this doesn't scale. But there's help. I guess most of you already know this. The page object pattern helps us here. I think Martin Fowler did not invent it, but he gave it this name. I think it was popular before, even under another name, but it's not important enough. Yes, the page object pattern is a simple but effective software design pattern, which helps us to separate the test code from the automation code. Okay. And yes, I've created a page object from the test code, from the code you have seen before. I've cut the code lines at the right side. That's not so much important. Important is what you see here. There's a method to start the calculator. There's a method to close the calculator. And there are there is a method to find a button by its caption. So now the resulting test code would look like this. Calculator can be instantiated. The buttons are again clicked in the correct order. The result is retrieved and the result can be checked afterwards. Now, adding an additional test case does not multiply the amount of code necessary. Only a few lines are added. It's very similar to the previous test case. And now we test the plus button or addition, so to say. So I think tests can now added easily, new test cases. And if the application changes, namely the Windows calculator, only the page object needs to be changed and not dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of test cases. And that's why I think I hope you like this one. Yeah. Some additional tips. Don't do error handling in your tests. We have done that a lot. I don't know if this applies to you, but we have. If this happens, then throw the following exceptions and write this into the log file. Forget it, because it messes up your code, wastes time during development of the tests. And the errors happen anyway in places that you do not expect. And the exception message is usually sufficient to quickly find the cause. Don't write any retry logic when a control cannot be found, because this messes up your code, wastes time during development and execution, and there should be better APIs to wait for a control until it is enabled. If not, get a better tool. Don't implement control caching for performance reasons, because it messes up your code, wastes time during development, may be very unstable. And if your automation framework is too slow, get a better tool. Some general tips: write simple and flat test code. Don't create a company testing framework. Just get a tool that works. Don't use inheritance and generics. Everyone knows, your boss knows that you are good at coding, but you don't have to show it off in tests. Write simple tests so that you don't shed it here when you have to throw them away and write them new. Make them simple. The next one who has to maintain your test will love you for that. Now, let's automate the automation. You may notice that I have just recently discovered AI image generation. Forgive me. Yeah. Let's automate it again. Yeah. Our tool of choice.
By the way,
Yeah?
what did you use to generate those images?
Midjourney.
Midjourney, okay.
But I have not much experience. I just tried it for this presentation first time. Okay. Our tool of choice is Azure DevOps. With Azure DevOps, developers can run the test directly from any source branch. The test code is associated, bless you, to test cases in order to organize them and for documentation purposes. The team, including managers, has convenient access to the latest test results and also to an archive of previous test results. The testers are also able to create bugs from failed test runs and attach logs, screenshots, and videos. In order to run automated tests in a CI/CD pipeline, you have to set up a test agent. A test agent is a piece of software that you have to install on your web workstation, laptop, virtual machine, whatever. You can download it from Azure DevOps, unpack the archive, and then call a command line in order to install it. I will skip the details, don't worry. But it is important to note that this test agent has to be installed in interactive mode. Interactive mode means that there has to be an active user session logged in order to allow the test agent to start applications and to interact with them. Next is we have to set up a build or release pipeline actually actually runs the test. It has to be configured for multiple agents. Number of agents has to be configured. Now to the tasks in the pipeline. Very important is always run the Visual Studio test platform installer. This took me years to figure it out. We had our custom solution to run the test, and we always tried how far is Microsoft with Azure DevOps, and we gave up on this because of this. And then a year later tried it again. The point is, tests run if you don't do it in parallel. So if it is run on a single agent, it works. But if you set it to multiple agent, it won't work unless you call this Visual Test Platform Installer task. I know it's clearly said in the documentation, but I just wanted to mention, and something we found out as well, use a specific version. Whatever version you choose doesn't matter. Choose the version that works for you. But if you specify a specific version, then the task will run a lot faster than the default setting, which is using the latest version. Yeah, and then the last one is the task that actually runs the test. And there is one thing that is important. You should set the number of tests per batch to 1. This ensures the best load balancing for this scenario. This means that there's no test agent with a queue of, for instance, 10 pending tests, and while another test agent is idling because he has nothing to do. So this is important for the load balancing. Yeah, most likely you will want to add attachments to your tests. There's a simple API in C# called add result file. Very straightforward, just pass in the path and your file should be attached. But the documentation recommends the following directories. This is just a screenshot from the test context documentation by Microsoft. It proposes results directory, test deployment dir, test results directory, test run directory, test logs dir. However, don't use them. All of these directories are subdirectories under the agent's working directory. That means that all of these directories will be deleted after the test run. That means that Azure DevOps actually has no chance to attach these files because it will do it afterwards. So important. So where to store test attachments? We use the temporary folder on our virtual machines. We then clean up this folder on every reboot. So it's a practical solution. Okay, and this is how viewing the test results looks like. Yeah, you see there's a circular diagram, eye diagram, I think. Donut diagram. Yeah. It shows the failed tests and the passed tests. Most likely you will want to review the attachments that you have attached to your test runs, and you will see, you can see it. There's a screen capture selected. You will notice you cannot review it, you have to download it before you can review the screen capture. That's not good. This is why we have created our own custom extension in order to view our attachments directly in the browser. You see it's an additional tab here for Azure DevOps. Yeah, this extension can review our screenshots, PDFs, comparison charts, whatever, and videos. That's very convenient for our testers. And we also implemented a custom video recorder that actually does the screen captures, because our implementation works much better than Microsoft's default implementation. I think Microsoft renders in WMV format that's really old. It generates huge files and forget about it. By the way, we don't have plans to earn money with these extensions, you can contact me and we are planning to give them out for free or publish them on GitHub. We haven't done the steps required for that, but we want to do it anyway. So if anyone is interested and we get feedback that someone needs this, then contact me. Contact details are on the last slide. So now for our to the last chapter and our current challenge. I chose image comparison as an example. So this is a screenshot of one of the applications that we have to explain the use case for image comparison. Imagine we have really complicated control, custom implementation or custom visualization of high resolution ultrasonic sensor data. And we have to check whether the application is working correctly. Another use case is, for example, a third-party map control by OpenStreetMap, Google Maps, Yahoo, whatever. And we use these kind of controls to render the location of our customers' pipelines. And we have to ensure that it's working correctly. Problem is that image comparison has false alerts. For example, real examples, the copyright text in one of the controls changes from year to year. So we will have an alert that the image comparison failed. Also, slight differences between operating system versions. Really. So what if we change the perspective? We should be able to assume that a control is already tested, because we want to test the application, not just the control. We should safely be able to assume that the third-party controls are tested by other companies anyway. So check. Our custom controls should be tested at an earlier stage, integration test, unit test, whatever. So the idea is we can test the underlying data. But testing the underlying data in the process is not that easy. In end-to-end tests, you start the external process and it's, yeah, like from the perspective of an actual user. And the user is not able to look into the memory of a running application. So we have to hack into the tested process. Luckily, this is supported by the test tool we chose. Also supported with code generation. An example use case would be, imagine you have an application with a list control, and in this list control you select an item, and then you expect that the maybe ultrasonic scientific view or a map control or something like that updates, and you don't visually check that the correct content is shown, but you check the scale or the pan that you expect to see. Yeah? Just the values, not what you see. Yeah, hacking, do I mean this seriously? The cons are, of course, we need developer knowledge about the application. We have to check the data model that is underlying this control. It hurts the black box principle. And the tests will break when the data model changes. But on the pro side, we don't need to maintain any reference images anymore. And it has proved to work really rock solid. So we don't have any problems since we did this in a few use cases. I could not convince all of my colleagues from this. So this is really a current challenge, but where we've done this, yeah, it proved to be really solid. So again, I think, okay, and now to my summary. Looks weird. I've created this with Google Slides, and this should appear line by line, whatever. Okay. So my summary is write simple code. Really simple code, and do not record the test cases. That simply doesn't work. Choose the right tool, and I have to say clearly for desktop test automation, I'm convinced that there is no free or open source tool that works. You can convince me, but I don't know of any. So choosing the right tool will cost money, but it saves a lot of time. So money, yeah. Automate everything. And at the end, have the courage to take pragmatic decisions. That's it from me. Thanks for your attention and
we're going to have a presentation in about 5 minutes, but has anybody got any questions beforehand? Any questions beforehand that we'd like to ask?
To ask them,
Yes.
there's some alternatives around to the page object model. I use the page object model. People tell me I should sometimes look at those. I would like this automation factory, I think is one of some others. Have you looked at some of these other models for?
This particular one that you mentioned, I haven't heard about it yet, but I've heard about rule, control, page, and root. They are all similar and related. I read about it and think, it's too similar to change anything. And our code is really simple. We wrap everything in this page object, or we call it views. Page object. Yeah, seems more related to web automation. We call them views in desktop automation testing, and it's rather simple. So I think there's no need to change anything there.
Thank you.
There are no more questions.
Any more questions? Yeah.
So you said the automation runs on branches and things like that. So what stages, what are the stages that you're running your automation?
We run them nightly, every night, but also on demand. So if a developer is working on a feature, on a source branch or feature branch or whatever, he can just push his changes and ask Azure DevOps, to run the tests. But completely isolated, it won't mess up any other things. Yeah, I mention it because this problems in the past, but it worked. Yeah. I was asking which tool we use. I'm surprised.
Are you going to answer your own question?
Yeah, do you want to know it?
Still do you?
Yes, I'm surprised you're asking. No, I've asked them to supply me with a license for demonstration purposes, so they did not, but we use SmartBear Test Left. They don't really propagate this tool. It's hidden under other programs on their website. I don't know why they don't advertise it more. They push their product Test Complete. I guess most people know it, which is a complete recording solution. And we were using Test Complete in the past, and we migrated painfully all of the Test Complete projects to Test Left. And Test Left runs like a charm. It has all these code generation features, rock solid. Also, we're happy with it.
Does anybody have any further questions, or shall we do the presentation? Any questions? Any takers? Cool. We're going to go outside into the main area as well. Going to do a quick presentation, but thank you.